marvelous Monday, and yes, I have a unicorn in my hair. Ashley, I thought you would love this, so I wore it for you. Alright, I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and a nice Mother's Day and that you did something special for Mom. It is time for the next chapter of the Panda Puzzle. Let's go. Okay, chapter 5. We're already on chapter 5? Wow, let me fix this. Is it okay? Alright, now we can start. Chapter 5. Dink had to think fast. Tom Steele doesn't know we're doing a story, he said. We just decided to write it a little while ago. We're hoping he'll publish it. Does he work on Sundays, Ruth Rose asked. I wouldn't be surprised, Irene said, especially after what happened to Winnie. The kids thanked Irene and headed out of the petting zoo. Pal trotted behind Josh with his long ears nearly touching the ground. Think she's a kidnapper, Dink asked. I do, said Josh. Do you see the size of her hands? She could kidnap a crocodile. It could be her, Ruth Rose said. She's the only one with a key. It's a very good point. That's a good clue. Maybe she likes money better. Oh, sorry. She's the only one with a clue. I don't know, Dink said. She really seems to like animals. Maybe she likes money better, Josh said, wiggling his eyebrows. They entered the senior community center through a rear door. Dink spotted a sign saying the Panda paper and an arrow pointing down a hallway. What do we ask this guy? Josh whispered. Pal sniffed the floors as they walked. For one thing, Dink said, I'll ask him if he'll put my story in his paper. The one you haven't written yet? Josh asked with a grin. Yeah, that one, said Dink. Soft guitar music greeted them at an open door. Tom Steele was sitting at a computer with his back to the kids. A small radio sat on the desk. Dink knocked on the door jamb. The editor went on typing. He was humming along with the tune. Come on, Ruth Rose said as she walked into the room. Tom Steele whirled around in his chair. You scared me, he said. He stood up and stared at the kids. He was probably only a little taller than Dink, but his spiky hair and cowboy boots added another 3 inches. He wore round glasses under thick eyebrows that met in the middle. One of his hands had a Band-Aid across the palm. Sorry, Dink said. I'm Dink Duncan, and I'm writing a story about Winnie. This morning you said you wanted stories, so I... Tom raised one hairy eyebrow at Dink. You're a writer? Not yet, but I want to be when I grow up, Dink said. Tom glanced down at Pal. Who's this? His name's Pal, Josh said. He used to belong to Crooks. Humph, Tom said, sitting back down. He removed his glasses, leaned back, and plunked his boots on the top of his desk. The desk was littered with papers, scissors, and a bottle of glue, pencils, and an oily pizza box. Sounds messy. Tom held up an issue of the Panda paper. There were holes in the paper where the sections had been cut out. Have you been reading any of these? He asked. We read them all, Ruth Rose said. She showed Tom her own copy. We like pandas, Josh said. Tom squinted his eyes. He stared at the tips of his boots. The only noise in the room was the ticking of a clock. I like pandas too, he said finally. If I can get my hands on whoever kidnapped Winnie. He rubbed his face. Okay, write your story, if it's good. If it's good, I'll print it. Could we ask a few questions? Dink pulled his notebook from a pocket. Tom sighed and glanced at his watch. I guess I can spare a few more minutes, he said. There he is. Look at that messy desk. Boots, everything. It's a mess. Do you know anyone who has a key to the panda enclosure, Dink asked. Yeah, Irene Napper does, he said. I think she's the only one. Dink nodded. Have you ever noticed anyone weird hanging around Panda Park? Josh asked. Tom shook his head slowly. Just normal looking people like you and me, he said, grinning. Were you surprised when Ping got upset this morning? Ruth Rose asked. Sure, we all were, Tom said. Flip told me he'd never seen her so angry. Does Flip Francis visit the Panzas a lot? Josh asked. Tom stood up. I have no idea, he said, and I have to get back to work. He stuck out his left hand to shake. Excuse the wrong hand. I got a bad paper cut on the other one. That could be a little fishy, too. Thanks, Mr. Steele, Dink said, shaking his head. He hesitated, then added, Do you know where we can find Flip Francis? Flip works at the fitness center, Tom said, pointing toward Main Street. Ruth Rose took a close look at the top of Tom's desk. Are you going to write a story about the kidnapping, Mr. Steele? She asked. The man nodded toward the mess on his desk. That's what I'm doing right now, he said. So if you'll excuse me. Dink promised to bring his story by in a couple days, and the kids left. They hurried back down the hall, out the back door, and into the sunshine. He's the one, Josh announced. The Band-Aid gave it away. Paper cut my Aunt Fanny. I bet Winnie bit his hand when he grabbed her. Ooh, the next suspect. So Mr. Steele is another suspect. All right. Oh, we're not finished yet. He had scissors and glue on his desk, and he was cutting out newspaper clippings, Ruth Rose said. The ransom note had letters cut out of the newspapers. Another clue. And did you guys see what was leaning in the corner, Josh asked. No, but you're going to tell us, right? Dink said. A fishing pole, Josh said. And that was a fishing knife Pal found in the bamboo. I say we call the cops. I don't know, Dink said. This guy has a hurt hand, and he needed both hands if he was climbing a fence carrying a panda. Josh smirked. Ever heard of a ladder? Dink grinned at his friend. What, the guy carries a ladder, an alarm clock, a knife, and a panda? Maybe we should be looking for a juggler. Chapter 6, tomorrow. Very interesting, guys. All right, enjoy your morning. I'll see you when we meet. Bye.